hardest obstacle was myself. I started realizing more and more and more that all these people were gone. What was haunting me was me. I can't control my dad. I can't control the people calling me. I can't control all these things, but they were things that kept me down. It started becoming my reality. My reality was what they made it out to be. And I became the most important conversation you'll ever have with your life, in your life is when you have yourself. And my conversation was absolutely horrifying.
What were you saying to yourself?
I'm dumb. I'm nobody. My dad was great in mental warfare. A drunk, insecure man will make everybody around him feel like hell.
Yeah.
Because he wants to give you no power. And that's why he was so mean to my mom and myself and my brother, because he didn't want anybody to get above him. He wanted to keep you down low. So when you're growing up with all of this stuff, all this hate, and it wasn't the beatings. I could take the beatings all day. It was the mental torture. So when at a young age, your parents put a dialogue in you of confidence or you're nobody. So that voice in my head was, I'm a loser. And then it was confirmed when I got in school, and in third grade, I was falling behind. They want to put me in a special school.
Yeah.
With kids who can't learn.
Right.
Then it was confirmed what my dad was saying. So that confirmed it. Then I started cheating. So I started realizing, you know what? I'm taking the easy way out again.
Yeah.
And it started snowballing from there. Now the kids are calling me. But it wasn't all the kids. So what happens is you start to get this picture that everybody hates you, because your reality becomes so big that you can't see the clear picture.
It might have been 3 or 4
That's
kids
it.
doing it over and over.
Right, but it was the whole town.
Yeah.
Everybody hated me. So
The world hates me.
That's right.
Yeah.
And that's when it became toxic. And that is where I became my worst enemy.
What was the greatest lesson your mom taught you growing up?
Honestly, the greatest lesson she ever taught me is a lesson that she doesn't know how much she taught me, because she wasn't much in the teaching mode. My dad took her soul. But what I did as a young kid is I observed everybody. I wasn't really smart in the books, but I was real smart when it came to life.
Yeah.
And I was able to sit back and watch her mistakes. I was able to see how she struggled through life and how I don't want to struggle through life. And I was able to see she never picked me up. The biggest thing she did for me, and this is honest to God truth, and she doesn't even know she did it. When I would bust my ass, when I would fail, when I was at the bottom of the sewer, she never picked me up. She never gave me that cookie and said, hey son, it's gonna be okay. She didn't have time for that. And sometimes she gets upset when I talk about my past, because it paints her out to be not the best mom. If I had any kind of mom in that kind of environment, I would have never made it. Because she forced me, for whatever reason, she forced me to, you better figure this out, or you're gonna be a statistic.
Wow.
And this is something that she didn't sit down and tell me. I realized this. This is the world that is in front of me. And what most people do is they see this world and they look at it as an excuse to get out of it.
Yeah.
I started looking at it as this is the ultimate training ground for the rest of my life. I have all these valuable lessons, because if you look out in the world right now today, it's not a nice place. But I'm very prepared for it. I'm prepared for all the failure coming my way. I'm prepared for everything my way. And that's the biggest lesson that she taught me by not teaching me. By never saying it's going to be okay. Matter of fact, she told me the exact opposite. Life sucks. We believe, like so many people, before I give them a workout plan, they're talking about recovery. Everybody that hears me speak, they want to go straight to recovery. Work out first. Work out first before you talk to me about recovery.
How to recover,
Work out first. We are always looking for, like whenever I talk to people, people take my words and they put it in a way to where they want to feel comfortable. This guy, they want to put you in a box. They want to put a title on you. No, you're putting a title on me to make yourself feel better about yourself. If you read this book of mine and you see where I came from, this person was not built. This person was not made by God.
Mm-hmm.
This person was built. I made this person. I made this person by diving into the insecurities that life gave me. Because now they're yours. They're yours to own. If you're not smart, call yourself dumb. It's okay, because you are. But take that not as you putting yourself down. If you're fat, call yourself fat. I used to be 300 pounds.
Mm.
We want to talk so soft to ourselves. We're looking for that recovery day. And that recovery day is everything in your life. Everything in your life is a recovery day. We're looking for it. It's not coming. It's not coming.
Mm-hmm.
Get over that recovery day. And that's the mentality I took with me. And what happened through that process was all the frivolous things of life started to float away. I used to tell people lies so they would like me. Because I was so insecure. When you start to build yourself up and start to have the one thing that we don't have is confidence.
Yep.
Real, authentic confidence from hard work. Everything else goes away. You no longer look to other people for your self-esteem.
For validation.
That's right.
Yeah.
You now know. I walk in a room now and I know the hours and years and decades I put into David Goggins. That's something, it's not on the wall. It's not a trophy on the wall. It's not a medal around your neck. It is actually a feeling in your heart. And people go, why don't you ever smile? I don't have to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do have a stoic look on my face. I'm a very focused person. But the feeling I have in my soul and in my heart, that's why I don't need to smile. I don't need to smile. I don't need you to look at me and say, oh my God, you look happy. Because half of us aren't happy. Mm-hmm. We're giving you something that we think you want to see. I don't do that anymore. I don't care how you perceive David Goggins. Because through my journey, I figured out the one piece I was missing. I thought it was cars. I thought it was women. I thought it was money. I thought it was everything. The one piece I was missing was me having the courage to face myself. And once you do that on a daily basis, it's not about the running. People are going to be, you asked about working out. Where I got my work ethic from was the hours I had to spend learning this. When you sit down and you're not smart, and you have a disability,
Yeah.
and you still want to be at the top of your class, I didn't want to just get by. When I realized that I can learn through hard work, and I can beat the valedictorian in school, but I got put in 10 hours more a day than he does. You know what kind of strength comes from that? When you're sitting down, that guy that valedictorian studied for an hour, and you know I caught you, and I am dumb, but I have the work ethic to catch you. That's where David Goggins got really invented.
Yeah.
Was at a kitchen table with 20 spiral notebooks that were empty, and then 3 months later,
Yeah.
they were full. And when you can go through that, I still have them in my storage unit. You go through these spiral notebooks of your life, and you realize this is how I learned. This is unbelievable. There's no miles. It's not about the miles. It's that. Having a discipline every day to say, for me to learn this one math problem, it's going to take me 10 hours.
Wow.
And that's where and you realize through hard work, you can outwork anybody. You got to start diving into those things that you are afraid of. You don't gain confidence by going to the spot that makes you feel good. It's going to be a false reality. And the second life gives you that challenge, all you want to do is go back to what made you confidence or what gave you confidence. Is that happy spot? No. What gives you confidence, what gave me confidence, was spending years at a kitchen table trying to learn how to read and write on my own. Realizing I can't learn the way you learn. I can't. But I can learn. What gives you confidence, not being afraid, is overcoming the fear. I used to stutter severely bad. So right now, I don't know how many people are going to watch this. You know what gives me confidence? Is knowing I no longer care if I sit here and start stuttering to you.
Yeah.
That's what gives me confidence, is facing these things, overcoming them. And maybe not overcoming them every day, but facing them and facing them and facing them. Pretty soon like this, you know what, man, this is where it's at. It's not in that comfort zone. It's in the discomfort zone is where my confidence is getting built. That's where it's getting built. But people they want an easier answer.
Yeah.
There has to be an easier way. There's not. I'm sorry.
All right. Good morning, fam. Welcome. Thank you for coming to Millionaire Mindset, Series 5. So I really liked that video. It's a good intro into what we're going to cover today. Definitely, and it kind of encompasses everything that we've been talking about, being real with yourself and going through your, the self-evaluation, what's the word, experiments and everything else that we were talking about, to really dive deep into yourself. And then, that will create your why, and, being real with yourself will get you to the actual goals that you want to accomplish. So we will dive into, get right into our presentation for today. So today we're going to talk about get 1% better every day, the Kaizen way of self-improvement. So when I was reading this article and going through and kind of doing research for this week, like I used to have, when I worked before, the job I had, like we had Kaizen, not experiments, but we did certain things in this Kaizen way, and I didn't ever understand it really. I did it, but I wasn't fully understanding it until I started reading these articles on the self-improvement, and then I understood why they wanted to go that route in the work atmosphere. This is going to be talking about, in the self-development, getting 1% better every day, rather than trying to completely change your life in 2 days. Like doing it 1% better every day, you'll see long-term results. So we envision a better future. You have that aha moment and you decide you need to make a change in your life. Maybe you need to drop a few pounds or more, want to pay off some debt, or desperately long to quit wasting time on the internet. We all, we all have that moment like where, okay, enough is enough. I need to do something. I needed to make a change. So you start planning and scheming. So you take your journals, you write out, bold strategy and how you're going to tackle this quest of self-improvement. Whether, I'm going to go to the gym 6 days a week, and, I'm going to work out for, an hour and a half to 2 hours a day. You set these big goals and firm deadlines. I want to lose X amount of pounds in 1 month. You download the apps. I have 2 workout apps on my phone. You buy the gear, so whatever you're doing. I know I keep referring to the losing weight, but I feel like that's just something that everyone can relate to. And you feel that telltale rush that comes with believing that you're turning over a new leaf, and indeed in a few days you're doing great. This time you're telling yourself this time is different. Like you're seeing the, whatever results you are seeing, and you're going, you're pushing forward, but then, and this happens to me all the time, you had a long day at work, and instead of making it to the gym, that frozen pizza is easier to sit there and make, and it sounds really good to eat, right? An unexpected expense comes up, if you're trying to, pay off debt, but an unexpected expense comes up and your bank account dips into the red, or you decided you've been doing really well with being focused. So what's a few aimless minutes, scrolling the internet and doing whatever you're doing there? What ends up happening is we start making these excuses on why it's okay to not stick to our goals and to push it back. It's not in the forefront anymore. It's, it's in the back of our minds. When we're trying to push forward, it really needs to be one of the front runners in your mind, or you're not ever going to achieve that goal in the first place. Within a matter of days, you've lost that ambition because like I said, we've pushed it so far back into our minds. We've made excuses on, oh, I can't get to it today. Can't get to it today. And I mean, I do it all the time. I'm still trying to get a regimen on, on working out every day. And after going through this research this week and doing this, I definitely have a more better plan to tackle this, to make sure that it does happen, rather than, diving straight in. Like, doing it 1% better every day will definitely make it'll make it easier to even start, and then it makes it easier to continue from there on. That airtight plan in your journal, you don't even look at it again. So you wrote this down, whether it's on your board, your journal, whatever, you wrote this plan down on how you were going to achieve this goal, because like we've been talking about before, we're writing stuff down where that's how, how we're setting our goals. So you write it down, but then all of a sudden now you don't even look at it anymore. It's just, a written piece of paper or on a board somewhere. You don't even, you probably purposely don't even look at it anymore, because you don't want to recognize it, because that you haven't been doing it. You're finding reasons and excuses on why it's okay to not just hey, you came to the right class. It's me too. That I speak a lot of this on personal things that I'm going through, so I just kind of assume that everybody's going through them. That's what makes me feel okay, like, all right, I'm not in the gutter. Everyone's going through this. We just all need to figure out how to get out of this, out of this regimen of making the excuses on why it's okay. So, and then in the end, you're still not happy with it all, which is why you're not looking over your plan, why you're continuing to make excuses, because you wouldn't need excuses if you're happy. And if you're happy, it's because you're accomplishing these goals, one day at a time, even an hour at a time, whatever your plan is. You're not happy because you're not accomplishing them. So it's important to be happy. So it's important to at least accomplish something every day. So then now you're right back to where you started, or even worse than before, because now, like, you've made the excuses. And I don't know about you guys, but when I start making excuses and everything else, for that second, because I made the excuse, it gets me past all right, again, I'm going to use working out. I didn't work out today because of X, Y, and Z. So it makes me feel okay at that point. But then by the end of the day, because I didn't work out and I know I didn't, and I made a crappy excuse on why I didn't, I feel even worse than if I just took the hour, 20 minutes, whatever my plan is to work out. At least I could say I did it, and then move forward. I would feel a lot better. So now you're even worse than when you started, because now you're not just overweight, in debt, and easily distracted person. You're an overweight, in debt, easily distracted person who failed at not being overweight, in debt, and easily distracted. That is a little tongue twister, but made sense in my mind. The sting of failure can feel, like just a straight gut punch to you. So that's why, like I said, by the end of the day, I feel even worse than you know, when I first decided to go do this, you know, when I first decided to, all right, I'm going to pay off some debt, go through, and, you know, a week goes by and you haven't even made an attempt to save that little bit that you said you were going to save every day. You know, so let's just say it was, okay, I'm not going to buy coffees every week, and I'm going to use, you know, every day of the week, and I'm going to use that money to start, you know, getting some of this debt off of me. But then you go a week and you buy coffees and that money's not there to then go pay that debt. Now, you know, you don't feel as good, and that failure, you know, it sits with you. So focusing on the big goals overwhelm us into inaction. So like focus, so you get these ginormous goals. So there's, remember when we talked about before, like goal setting and everything else. So that's why I always said, set your goals. You know, you have your long-term goals, your 5 to 10 year goals, yes, but you have to set goals, you know, on a daily, weekly, monthly basis as well. Because when you sit there and you look at these giant goals, let's just say, you know, 100K student debt loans, and that seems like, you're like, how am I going to pay this student debt off? You know, and that might be a 5-year goal, it might be a 10-year goal, but when you're looking at it right then and there on that day, that gets overwhelming. And then we start not putting money aside because it scares us, and, you know, it induces that fear and that stress, and then we don't do anything towards that goal at all. So that's why it's important to, you know, set these goals, but make them first off realistic, and then make sure that you have steps. You know, you have this big goal, but you have steps to get to it. It's not just, I'm going to pay my student loan off in 5 years. It's, I'm going to pay it off in 5 years, yes, and every month I'm going to do this, this, and this to make sure I save enough money to make that payment and a little more, you know, or whatever it is. And, you know, generally as like we have, you know, your brain gets induced with fear and stress, and then your brain gets scared, and then most people, it's going to put you in, you know, flight or fright mode. And that's going to stop you from going and getting, going and achieving these goals in the first place. Typically we start to look for shortcuts, like in the video he was saying, like he started cheating, you know, because that's what we instinctively do. Like, what are we doing? You know, how can I make this easier on myself? Not everything is going to be a shortcut. And especially I would say when you're doing, when you're doing self-improvement, it's just one thing that I would not take, you know, try to look for a shortcut to get through, because then you're only cheating yourself, especially on that. So, you know, typically we look for shortcuts instead of doing all the boring, mundane, time-tested things that bring success. We start looking for hacks that'll get us results faster. We think a magic bullet. So in this article, they used a magic bullet. And basically what a magic bullet is, you know, we want this magic bullet that allows us to hit our target bullseye in one shot. So we're looking for that shortcut, and that's going to help us, instead of going through all this, you know, BS of the stuff that, you know, takes the time when, you know, sitting there writing in your journal every day, making sure that, you know, you're doing your affirmations every morning, or like all this things that take time. You know, taking the time to do a vision board, you know, like taking the time to actually sit down and write out your why, and and then create your why statement from that. Like that all takes time, and sometimes it can take a lot of time depending on how how in depth you want to get on it, and you should get in depth on it. So some people will they're looking for that shortcut so it doesn't take them as much time. And what that ends up doing when you're searching for this magic bullet that'll save you time is you end up spending a lot of your time looking for it. And then, once you find it, you've already spent so much time looking for it that you could have just did the work in the first place. But in our brains, it seems more productive to look for this, this excuse or this, way of making, this shortcut. It makes more sense to do that for some reason than just doing the work itself. And then you're not actually getting the full potential out of, whatever you were trying to achieve in the first place. And then it's completely slows down your self-improvement and your actions towards your goals that you're trying to achieve. So it's definitely better if you just take the time to really put into yourself to then get the results that you want out of it. All right, so let's say things are going great. We are doing what we need to do. You lost that 5 pounds already. You shaved off $200 off your debt. Success, right? Great, we're feeling great and everything else. Now, typically at this point, we can be our own worst enemies. What ends up happening for most people is we stop doing the things that helped us succeed in the first place. So, you started losing weight. So now, okay, now I don't have to go to the, you were going to the gym, let's just say 4 days a week for 45 minutes. Now it's, well, I could, I want to go out with with my friends today and it's a gym day. So but I'm doing good already. So I'm just not going to go today. I'll make it up an extra day, next week or whatnot. And then next week it doesn't happen either. And we stop doing the things that got us there in the first place. We stop holding ourselves accountable. You shaved off that $200 in debt. Now we start not saving the money that we were saving that got us there in the first place. We, if it's that coffee a day, if it's, I was going to say a movie, but we don't have Blockbusters anymore. Nobody's spending money on that. But yeah, like what we were doing to save that money to pay off that debt in the first place, we start slipping back on it. Those excuses start coming back in. You worked so hard to get to this point in the first place and, not think of the excuses and you got rid of the excuses. And then you got to this point and now those excuses start squeaking back in. And now we start going backwards. Self-improvement is not a destination. You're never done. Even if you have some success, if you want to maintain it, you have to keep doing the things you were doing that got you to the success in the first place. So like I was saying, like you have to continue to do what you were doing. Once you hit your goal, so like let's just say, it's your goal is to save $1,000 a month to go towards your student loan. And you hit that goal 20 days in, let's just say. It doesn't mean to stop. Make it easier for your next month. Maybe you're saving, $500 a week. Maybe the last 10 days you saved $200, but you still saved $200. You don't completely ditch what you were doing that was so successful in the first place that you hit your goal early. That's great. Continue to do it so that you can maintain it. Maybe since you hit it early that month and now you saved a little bit for the next month now can be a little easier, but don't completely give up what you did in the first place to get you there. And then now we get into the 1% better each day. Benjamin Franklin, little strokes fell great oaks. So, you know, you got the guy, the lumberjack sitting there, you know, hitting it with the axe. Little stroke, instead of sitting there whacking at it super hard, burning himself out and never going to get that tree down, if you just take little strokes, you know, keep maintaining yourself through that, you'll be able to get that tree down. Every day, just focus on getting 1% better in whatever it is that you're trying to improve. That's it, just 1%. So, you know, since we're traders here, like getting 1% better. So instead of sitting there, you know, if your daily, let's just say your daily goal is, you know, 5% profit on your account, start off with 1%. Start off with little wins so that you can continue to build off of that. Because say it's, you know, your goal is 5% and you only hit 1%, that does something to your mental. You're like, I only hit 1% today, you know, so that does something to you, that kind of, it downs you. It makes, you know, it brings those negative thoughts into the space. Whereas if you focus on just getting 1% better every day, then now it brings that positivity in your mind. Like, I did it. I did the 1% today. So definitely, you know, with trading, it definitely is relevant to do 1%. But then just in yourself, whatever it, you know, working out. I think I have examples in here somewhere. But as you're going through, well, I know there's examples, and I think it's the next slide. So instead of trying to make radical changes in a short amount of time, just make small improvements every day that will gradually lead to the change that you want. So I thought this was really, like, we all know about compounding. We're all, you know, again, we're traders. So this 1% a day, working on yourself, working on whatever goal it is that you want, 1%, you know, getting better with reading the charts, 1% debt, working out, what, you know, weight loss, whatever it is, it starts compounding on itself. So that 1% grows. It might not seem like much, but those 1% improvements start compounding on each other. In the beginning, your improvements will be so small that it seems practically non-existent. You won't even notice it, you know. But gradually, and even so, and ever so slowly, you'll start to notice the improvement in your life. It may take months or even years, but then the improvement will come if you just focus on consistently upping your game by 1%. So what 1% does is, first off, it doesn't take all your focus. So you can, what Kaizen allows you to do, which, you know, focusing on that big goal, trying to do everything for that goal all at once, gets you overwhelming. You don't accomplish as much. But what 1% does, you could literally do 1% for a lot of things in a day. So you could work on 1% trading, 1% losing weight, 1%, you could do all, you know, paying off your debt. You could do all of that in the same day because you're only focusing on getting 1% better in each thing, rather than sitting there going, I want to pay off all my debt tomorrow. How am I going to do? Like, now all your focus is on that one thing. You're not even getting just your normal daily things done because all you're focused on is this one thing. Whereas if it was, you know, I just need to not drink that coffee, and what that coffee does, you know, from Dunkin' Donuts or, you know, Starbucks or whatever, what that coffee does is actually help you on two different goals. You're going to lose some weight because not all the sugar and everything in the coffee, and you're going to save the money to pay off the debt. Boom, that's your 1% for the day for both those things. Now you don't have to worry about that for the rest of the day. You can focus on other things. Instead of sitting there going, I need to come up with all this money, and I need to go to the gym, and I need to do this and I need to do that and I need to get my kids to school and I need to, you have all this stuff that can get overwhelming and you're trying to work on yourself at the same time. If you do 1%, it'll make it a lot easier and not make it overwhelming.
But what if I need that coffee to do all that stuff?
Make coffee at your house with no sugar. Why Kaizen works. So when you're improving, sorry, it doesn't have to be the coffee. It could be something else. You need to figure out what that something is, though.
I know what it is.
Why Kaizen works. When you improve a little each day, eventually big things occur. When you improve conditioning a little each day, eventually you'll have a big improvement in conditioning. Not tomorrow, not the next day, but eventually a big gain is made. Don't look for the big gains and the quick improvements. Seek the small improvements one day at a time. That's the only way it happens, and it will happen. And when it happens, it lasts. So, you guys are distracting me with chat. Yeah, so I mean, it's basically what I've been saying. So, and what we've said in prior classes here, everyone just wants, the get rich quick schemes, those are the cheating ways to get there. We all know in Forex, we can hit big gains and that's great. But we also know that it's not a get rich quick, that you have to put in the work, that you have to learn how to chart and look at charts, and you have to know what's happening in the market. You have to know your strategy. You have to know, price action and all this stuff. Like you have to know that stuff. Doesn't mean that, tomorrow your account's not going to go up 30%, but we know that that's not the typical as well. So we're putting in the work to make sure the small improvements are happening every day, and then they'll just consistently happen and they'll stay there. It's not, I think I know what I'm looking at on the chart, and then you actually don't. And then, but if you do know what's happening on the chart, every time that, that candlestick pattern happens, you know what to do. And that's how it lasts, because you put in the work, you made the small improvements every day, rather than just taking a guess. Like a lot of people, new people just think we guess what direction the market's going. It's like, no, I mean, we do our technical analysis. We look at the charts. We have an idea. I mean, obviously we don't know, but we have an idea of where it's going to go. We have more of an idea than the typical person does on the chart, because we put in that time to learn it. And once you do put in that time to learn it, it lasts. It's going to stay with you. You're going to know. For me, I was when I went to full-time trading, I was learning way too much. I had nothing else to do with my day now. I used to work 10 to 12 hours a day and then go trade. Now I had 10 to 12 extra hours to learn everything, So I took in way too much information, and I was putting too much information on my charts, and I went 3 or 4 months losing almost every trade. Like I made enough to keep going, but I was losing trades all the time. And what I had to do is dump everything that I was doing and learn something new and stick to just that. But I didn't dump I still know the information that I was using before. I didn't dump it. It stayed with me because I took the time to learn it, and I learned it 10 to 12 hours a day for months. And then I had to do the same thing, make small improvements every day. Did I realize I was doing it at the time? No. But reading this, I was like, that's exactly what I did. I learned a new strategy every day. I spent time on it to sit there and learn how it works, and what I was doing wrong before. I had to take that time. And now everything that I learned before is still with me. And on top of it, everything that I learned afterwards. So I can always refer back to it. Does it go on my charts? No. Not everything that I learned before, but if I ever see something, I know it. So, just taking that time to condition yourself, and small improvements will get you through. So here's the example. How to implement Kaizen in your life. You have to ask yourself this question every single day. What's one small thing I can start doing that'll improve my life? So a small thing, whatever it is, and make sure that you do that every day. So you want to start an exercise habit, do a single push-up as soon as you roll out of bed. Just as simple as that, one push-up. Like that's how you start, one push-up. The next morning, add another, and you just keep going with that. And, eventually you're doing whatever amount of push-ups, you're doing your sit-up, like you're going to do everything, but you have to start somewhere. If you don't start somewhere, you're never going to start. And if you start too much, I always made this mistake. Every time I go back to the gym, I try to start exactly where I left off. So, I was going to the gym for 6 months. I was here, and then I didn't go to the gym for 4 months. I'm going to start right back to where I was when I left. It doesn't work that way. You're going to end up killing yourself. You're going to end up pushing yourself out of the gym. That's what I do every time. And then you start being overweight, and then it's just an endless cycle. So, but you got to start somewhere. So I'm trying to start at home, and then I can work myself into the gym. You want to start meditating, begin with a minute of breathing exercises. That's it, just a minute. And then work yourself into whatever your goal is. Okay, I want to meditate for 30 minutes. Well, just increase that every day, every couple of days, whatever your goal is that you've written down that you think is achievable. Like you have to make sure it's achievable. Like by the end, I want to be doing it for an hour. So make sure that as your journey to that hour is achievable, so that you'll make sure it happens. You want to establish a morning routine. Start with the evening. Concentrate 10 minutes before you go to bed. Plan out what you're doing. During these 10 minutes, as simple as, brushing your teeth, whatever your plan is, that you want to, all the things that you want to get done before you go to bed. Plan it out. I'm going to do this for a couple minutes. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. And then once you're satisfied with the routine at night, then now move that to the morning. And then you do the same thing. How you worked on it at night, you work on it in the morning. A lot of people, they'll just try to do both at the same time, and they want all this stuff to get done. Start out with a couple things. Start out with one of them, night or morning, and then move on. You want to start journaling. This one is hard for me because I don't like to write as much. I write what I feel like I need to write. You want to start journaling. Instead, make it a goal to write pages each day. Just start off with writing it for a minute. Instead of, sometimes I write my stuff weird. Instead of making it a goal to write a page each day, start off with just writing for a minute. That's it. Instead of, okay, I need to fill this page every day because that's my goal. Start off with a minute, and then every day add a minute until you get to, until you get to that point where you feel comfortable you're getting done what you want to get done. You want to start losing weight, cut one of the sugary drinks a day out, and then cut out half of your afternoon snack, whatever that is, or whatever it takes. If it's the coffee, then cut out the coffee. If it's not, cut out something, and just start with that. And then now move into, okay, I'm going to take the steps instead of the elevator. I'm going to take this. You just start adding little things that are going to start making you lose weight. I'm going to start counting my steps every day and just see where I'm at. And okay, so today I was at 2,000 steps. Tomorrow I'm going to try to be at 2,500. Just take an extra 500 steps. And you just start adding those things to your day, and then they just become habits. You know what I mean? But you didn't overwhelm yourself with this big, I need to do all of this all at once. You just started adding to it, and now it's just a habit. You're just gonna do it, not even thinking about it, and then there's no stress on your brain. There's no stress on yourself to get it done. Try to do just 1% better than the day before. So this is, just 1% better than the day before every single day. Start small, make your increases gradual. Avoid the temptation of getting impatient and start rushing forward and taking bigger leaps. So that's what it's not a get yourself to, the self you want quick scheme. It's going to take time to do it. So if you make these goals, if it's just 1% a day, it's going to be a lot easier to maintain that, and you're going to continue in a positive way, instead of trying to take that big leap and getting setbacks. And then now that depressing mood kicks in, and the excuses and everything else that we were talking about before sets in, and now you start giving up on your goals, and that's not where we want to be. Once you've reached your goals, start a maintenance plan to keep up with the rest of your life. If you lost enough weight, keep it in a manageable diet exercise plan you're on indefinitely. So if you've got to that's what you need to do, Ken. If you've lost enough weight and you keep what you think you can do on a daily basis. Like I said, if you're if you were going to the gym 5 days a week, maybe to maintain it, you can cut it down to 4 days a week or 3 days a week, but make sure that it's maintaining. As soon as you start gaining a couple pounds, now you have to bump it back up to 5 days a week, and because that's what got you there. You need to know that, if it was doing what you guys are talking about, whatever it is, make sure that it's manageable. And then maybe you reach the point of reading 30 minutes a day. Keep it up, enjoy, and then enjoy watching the library of read books accumulate year after year. If you get to the point that you're happy and that you're reading that 30 minutes a day, an hour a day, whatever it is, and you're improving on yourself, make sure you keep up with it. Same thing here, Kenny. Don't give up on it just because now, hey, I made it. You're paying off your debt. Great. Now start really saving so that you never have to worry about that again. You finally finished off that. You finally finished paying off that student loan. Now that money is free. That's that money that you were using to pay off that debt is now freed up. So don't just start blowing it and creating more debt for yourself. Now start putting at least some of that away. I mean, maybe if you were saving $1,000 a month to pay this debt off, you were spending $1,000, maybe you save 600 of it now, and now it frees up 400 for you to do whatever you want to do with it, to reward yourself. But don't go spend the whole 1,000 every month that you were using. Start putting it away so that you never have to worry about debt again. There is some setbacks. The setbacks happen all the time. It's what can stop you if you're not strong enough on getting that 1% better every day. Some days you may get 1% worse, and that's okay. It's just 1%. That's what's great about this. Like the little changes, the 1% where it feels, you haven't really done anything or whatnot. You know, it goes the other way too. If you get a setback and you did 1% worse, it's only 1%. It's okay. You get back to it on the next day. You know, maybe you did not make it to the gym that day, or you did cave and you went and got that coffee, so you didn't save that money that day, or whatever it is that you were trying to do every day. Maybe you didn't read that 30 minutes and you made an excuse. Get back to it the next day. It's only 1%. You only did okay one day. It didn't happen, but get back to it the next day. And you have to make sure that, because you don't want it to create a trend of not getting it done, because then you're just going to stay on it. Again, it's going to go to the back of your mind and you're never going to accomplish your goal if you're continually making excuses every day for it. Get back on the saddle and start doing 1% better again. Change is possible. You can get better. It just takes time and patience. With small strokes, you shall surely fell great oaks. I don't know if that made sense, but and then I like this quote. One moment can change a day. One day can change a life. One life can change the world. So get out there, change the world. One day at a time, one moment at a time. That's where it all starts. One moment to one day to one life. And that's all I got for you guys. Does anybody have any questions or comments? Throw in whatever you want to throw in. Anybody want to share their why? Because we have a bunch of people on here. We have a bunch of people in here that haven't shared their why yet. Don't know if anybody's been on the class. So if anybody wants to throw in their why, whys are super important. If not, then have a great weekend.
I appreciate you, my man.
All right. So the next is up. DX
No doubt, no doubt.
launching on Monday. Everybody excited?
Yes, thank you very much.
You
I
want-
definitely needed this. I didn't like how you was talking about me when you started this, but you know, I receive it. Thank you. I needed the gentle correction.
Yeah.
Let's go. Millionaire mindset.
Let's go. All right, guys, have a great weekend. Let's be pumped and ready for Monday for launch. Spread the word. Let's get it out there. Let's change lives one moment at a time.